Okay, first things first, I apologize if I cough a lot during this again. It's my allergies, they're just kind of bad. I just took a Claritin, so hopefully it'll kick in at some point and we'll be at least mostly smooth here. Alright, anyway, Impact Emergence, not Emergency, Emergence. Just ended. Overall enjoyable but somewhat bizarre at times show, which we'll get to. First off, let's start with our kickoff show matches. We started off with the Digital Media World Championship being on the line as Brian Myers went up against Bipinder Gujar. Myers comes out already with a microphone, runs down the city of Chicago. Gujar came, he hit a corkscrew elbow, and he followed that up with a big drop kick. Myers rolled out of the ring to avoid a spear, and then used that to kind of trick Gujar into the ropes so he could low blow him with a kick to the ropes. Gujar hit a missile drop kick, followed that up with a ripcord knee and a Samoan drop. But in the midst of all of this, Myers managed to rip the second turnbuckle pad off and then catapulted Gujar into it, rolled him up for the 3 count of victory. A typical kind of heel victory here. Not much to say. It'll be a decent match. Gujar really does have some promise. I kind of, maybe they could follow through on this a bit more. I think it's going to come down to if Matt Cardona ever returns to Impact. I don't know what exactly his standing is with the company right now. I know he's a little more focused on GCW and the NWA, so I can't say entirely for sure, but you know, there's also rumors that he may be going back to WWE, but I'm not, like I said, I can't say that's for sure at all. So, you know, if Myers has to feud with someone, I would like it to be Gujar again. I think it was they're more than capable of having an even better match than this one. I mean, this was decent, but it could have been better. After that, we have the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match. Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary with Jessica, not Jessica Havoc, versus Vexed. That's Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green. Right off the bat, Valkyrie hit Green with an arm drag. Green immediately tagged out. Rosemary managed to use the apron to put an arm bar on Deonna Purrazzo. Green hit drop kicked Jessica into Rosemary, not Jessica Havoc. The idea is something has happened to Jessica and she's changed personalities, so she's not really the dark, disturbing member of Decay anymore. She's just Jessica, a cheerleader. Purrazzo broke up a Road to Valhalla attempt. She hit Valkyrie with a running knee through the ropes. Eventually, what happened at the end of the match was the ref kind of got distracted a little bit. Both Green and Rosemary hit each other with big boots. Rosemary was selling an injury, probably setting up the Green Mist. At this point, Jessica got up on the apron again, distracted the referee. Unfortunately, this resulted in Valkyrie accidentally getting misted, and then Purrazzo and Green hit a step up enziguri, and then Purrazzo and Green double suplexed Rosemary and got the 3 count to become the new Knockouts Tag Team Champions. Okay, was that... Did everyone get that? Overall, the match was enjoyable. Ending was maybe a little rushed, as I described it. Like I said, good to see Purrazzo and Green win a championship here. I think they're really going to elevate those championships. I mean, they were already really high, but, you know, Valkyrie and Rosemary were a good team, but it's like, you know, it's a mismatch. It's not a couple tag team. That eventually something's going to happen to split them up, and now it seems we're on that road. So, again, now we have someone who can defend the belts a little more often, a little more free, and, you know, won't break up for the near future, hopefully. And, again, more than capable of putting on good matches. Alright, as we move on to the show proper, we opened up with the X Division Championship match. Speedball Mike Bailey versus Jack Evans. Early on, Bailey asked for the handshake. Evans forgave that and went for a quick roll-up. Evans countered an arm wringer into a head scissors. Bailey came back. He hit a drop kick and then followed that with 2 torpe suicidos. Evans hit a big springboard drop kick. Eventually, Bailey really did fight back a lot and kind of overwhelmed the match at that point. Bailey hit a drop kick and followed that with a moonsault to the outside. Evans hit a German suplex off the top rope, but Bailey kind of rolled out and hit a flying knee, and then followed that with his double stomp finisher, the ultimate weapon, for the 3 count and the victory. Like I said, decent, good high impact moves match. Unfortunately, it got usurped by another match which happened later. It was fine. It's nothing too terrible. Just, again, it was kind of back and forth a little bit, and I don't know if it necessarily needed to be. I think someone should have looked a little more dominant at some points in this, and it just didn't. Particularly the champion probably should have. The German suplex off the top rope was rather impressive, but then it's kind of nullified when Bailey almost immediately then flips out of it, and when he hits, he then flips back up and hits the knees. So, yeah, it doesn't quite work that way. Okay, now, technically the next match was going to be Steve Maclin and Sami Callihan, but we're going to cover that one later, okay? Because there's a whole story to that needs to be explained. So instead, we're moving on to the match after that, which is Violent by Design, Eric Young and Cody Deaner, versus Chris Sabin and Kushida, the, I guess, slightly newish Motor City Machine Guns. Early on, Kushida put Deaner in a gator roll. Sabin and Kushida hit kind of a wheelbarrow dropkick maneuver on Deaner. Young came back, he put Kushida in a top rope dragon sleeper. Violent by Design isolated Kushida for a long time. Kushida hit a running... So literally ran over both Young and Deaner to get to the hot tag to Sabin. Young broke up a cradle shock DDT, not a cradle shock DDT, just a cradle shock attempt. Violent by Design hit an elbow head scissors, headbutt combination on Sabin. At this point, Deaner distracted the ref long enough for Doring to push Kushida off the top ropes, and that enabled Young to hit the pile driver on Sabin for the 3 count of the victory. Decent little tag match. Good showing from both teams. Again, it's kind of a predictable finish. I don't know why this needed to be, on the main show. In fact, I would probably switch this with a Knockouts Tag Team Championship match. I think that would have made a bit more sense to be on the main show than it did on the kickoff. This felt more like a kickoff show match. Okay, so again, I know there's some stuff that happened around here, but I'm going to explain them kind of in one big segment, okay? Okay, anyway, our next match is Ray Horus versus Bandito. A special guest appearance from the AAA stars. And boy, this was just a classic lucha match, just really fast-paced. So fast that I missed several maneuvers, so I can tell you that Horus hit a top rope, countered a top rope move with a drop kick. Bandito hit kind of a worm into a senton. Like he started doing the worm dance, and he stopped and he flipped over. It's just a big one. Horus then hit a 180 frog splash. He hit a tilt-a-whirl super DDT. Bandito hit a deadlift brainbuster over the ropes. Bandito hit a jumping knee and followed that with a frog splash. Then he followed that up with kind of an inverted GTS. Instead of the normal fireman's carry, it was a reverse fireman's carry into the knee to the face. And he then followed that up with what he called the 21 plex, which is a kind of handspring into a German suplex for the 3 count of the victory. And this is what I said about the X Division match earlier. Like, the X Division match would have been great, except this match just completely surpassed it. It's like this match had more passion in it than that X Division match did. Like, it was good. The X Division match was, technically sound, but it just didn't quite have the great story. This had the evidence. You had guys playing to the crowd, doing Eddie Guerrero tributes. You could tell they were having fun with each other. It was a good, entertaining match. It was definitely the match of the night, in my opinion. I just think it was so crazy good. It's just crazy fun with insane moves. And, okay, this is where I need to explain things. So, the Steve Maclin, Sami Callihan match. They came out, it didn't technically start, it was during the intros. They were already bringing weapons into the ring, even though it was not a DQ match. At that point, the ref interceded, told them to clear out of the ring. They both attacked the ref and then started attacking each other, brawling into the crowd and then brawling backstage. A match goes by, the Violent by Design Kushida Sabin match. That ends. We then have Kenny King of Honor No More come out and challenge Heath because he's been attacking members of the group. And then that's interrupted by a returning MacLeod and Callihan, who brawl through the crowd again. That distracts King long enough for Heath to get, I forget what Heath's finisher is called. He gets Kenny King with that, he runs back into the crowd. And then after the lucha match, we then get a resumption of Callihan and MacLeod as they have fought back to where Moose was being interviewed, so now Moose is getting involved again, and this finally brings out Scott D'Amore, who says, okay, look, I goofed, I shouldn't have booked you two for a normal match. Moose, you stay away from ringside, start an ODQ match right now, and so they did. Everybody got that? Excuse me. Alright, so unfortunately this is kind of where things begin to fall apart. Excuse me, like myself. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to clear my throat out as best I can there. Anyway, this is where things kind of fell apart as right off the bat we started getting unprotected chair shots to the head. Sami hit Steve over the chair, he threw chairs in his face, MacLeod did the same to Callihan, and it's like, one is excessive nowadays. Again, there's a reason they're not supposed to be done anymore. Okay, like I know we've had a bit of an increase in blood recently, and we've had that, but it's like you can't be doing unprotected chair shots to the head. You just not in the era of CTE. Like that has to stop. Even if they're both consenting, like you can't do it multiple times. Like I said, one is excessive, and they just started beating each other up. Eventually, MacLeod got out a toolbox. He pulled out a pair of zip ties, tried to tie Callihan's hands with it, but MacLeod hit the Callihan. He tried to use the zip ties to put Callihan in a sleeper. Callihan hit a low blow. Again, another unprotected chair shot to the head. He finally got MacLeod's hands in the zip ties and hit the Cactus Driver 97 for the 3-count victory. Like I said, unfortunately, I do enjoy a fairly decent hardcore match. This was not a fairly decent hardcore match. It was, I could endure the goofiness a little bit, but it got a little too over the top. And then again, multiple unprotected chair shots. That's a downer in my opinion. And speaking of multiple unprotected chair shots, we have the no disqualification tag match, which wasn't really a tag match, between Honor No More and Bullet Club. And if Honor No More lost, they had to disband. However, if they won, they'd get a championship shot against the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers double team Vincent right away. PCO chokeslam Chris Bay on an apron. Eventually, hit a KO threw PCO out. Bay hit a big plancha onto the group. That got followed by a couple of, I'm trying to think who else got tossed out. Was it, I think it was Ace Austin did it. Bennett and Taven then teamed up on hit the KO. Overall, Gallows and PCO brawled into the crowd. Gallows choke slam PCO through a table. And then again, we started to get weapons involved and multiple unprotected shots to the head. Kendo shots to the head. Garbage cans to the head. Signs to the head. Like, no. Again, why are we getting unprotected shots to the head? It's 2022. We don't do that in wrestling anymore. Ugh. Eventually, Edwards broke up a Magic Killer with a kendo stick, and that enabled Tavon and Bennett to basically double team Gallows with some trash cans and then double pin him for the 3 count, so now they get the title shot and Honor No More does not have to disband. I would say overall in storyline terms, this is good for Honor No More. I said, I've had problems that they've looked fairly incompetent in recent weeks, and at least now maybe they can look a bit more fearsome like they should. Bullet Club, again, it's this weird thing where both teams are heels, so I don't know what exactly to think of this. I don't know what exactly the relationship is with Bullet Club / New Japan and Impact right now. because you also have guys showing up in Impact. You know, Jay White's over there, and it's like, okay, I'm confused. So, again, like, if the Good Brothers want to stay there, that's fine. Chris Bay and Ace also want to stay there because maybe they're a little better suited for there. That's fine, but, you know, maybe, you know, downplay the Bullet Club stuff in a little bit and start trying to find some better tag teams for this division a little bit, because it's getting kind of samey. Alright, our next match is the Knockouts World Championship match, Jordynne Grace versus Mia Yim. The crowd, though they were doing the Let's Go Mia, Let's Go Jordynne chants, was decidedly louder for Mia Yim. Early on, Grace hit a German suplex after an atomic drop. Yim hit a coffin drop kick, followed that up with a torpe. She countered a suplex into a guillotine. Grace fought out of a superplex attempt and hit a Liger bomb. Grace hit a spinebuster after that. Yim then began laughing as Grace tried to put her in an STF. It was not a very effective one. In fact, at one point they both wound up putting each other in rear chin locks. Yim came back, hit a tornado DDT through the ropes. Grace hit a muscle buster. Yim hit a code blue off the top rope. But then Grace countered a, which is again, oh boy, what did I write? She countered a move from Yim into the Grace driver for the 3 count and the victory. A really good match. Really well done, really well fought. Definitely could have gone either way, which is I think how these matches should go. You know, every contender should look like a valid opponent, and Grace did a really good job of that. And then afterwards, they went for the sportsmanship handshake, but that was interrupted by the appearance of Masha Slamovich coming out and giving the photo with the red X through it to Jordynne Grace. So I guess that's the next feud. So yeah, overall interesting, strange because Slamovich debuted as kind of a babyface, going after the Influence. Yes, I am aware that Velvet Sky is back in, or not, she's not back in, she's in AEW now. But again, I guess now they have to have her, I mean, well, Grace has been acting pretty heelish recently too, so there's always a chance that could be a bit more, that could signal a heel turn. And that leads us into our main event, the Impact World Championship match between Josh Alexander and Alex Shelley. Very early on, there was some chain wrestling to open things up. At one point, Alexander lost his headgear. Shelley threw it back at him, hit a big drop kick to Alexander's elbow. Alexander fought out of an STF attempt, hit a Northern Light suplex. Alexander put Shelley in a gory stretch. Shelley then hit kind of a springboard stomp on Alexander's elbow. Alexander tried to go through a crossbody through the ropes. He tweaked his knee in the process as well. Shelley followed that up with a dragon screw. So Shelley's now really going after Alexander's elbow and his knee. He's putting him in the Motor City Switch. Even though Alexander's continuously getting to the ropes. Alexander did, Shelley countered a power bomb into an air raid crash. Shelley hit sliced bread on the outside of the ring. Alexander fought out of the Motor City Switch. He blocked an enziguri. He tried to put on the ankle lock. He put on a sharpshooter. Shelley went for a third sliced bread. He countered that into Tombstone Pile Driver. Yeah, sorry. And eventually, Shelley went for, went for sliced bread again. It got countered into, no, I already had that. Eventually, Shelley went for another maneuver. I can't remember which one now. It's, Alexander caught him and hit the C4 spike for the 3 count and the victory. Unfortunately, they didn't really build much after the show ended after that because they pretty much ended the show right then and there, so I don't know what that entails. Shelley was acting pretty heelish throughout this, like, you know, they did a good job of explaining, like, you know, this was his, you know, first world championship shot in 20 years, so he had to try to make the most of it and fight hard. But, you know, you also see he's taking a lot more cheap shots. He's doing his best to try to bend the rules as best he can. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that going on. So maybe we can get more Josh Alexander and Alex Shelley for... not against Salt. Victory Road. That's the other Impact show coming in September. And then Bound for Glory is on pay-per-view in October. So, yeah, this was a really good match, really solid, did a good storytelling job. Again, I think when you have a contender like that, they have to be made to look credible. Shelley looked credible, so Alexander really did a good job of making him look like a decent threat, looking like maybe he could lose, but overall, like, you kind of knew that Alexander was going to come back and pull out the victory. So, like I said, overall, this was a really good show, really fun. Again, just the unprotected chair shots, the unprotected head shots with weapons. Like I said, we're not supposed to be doing that anymore. I don't know why that suddenly got back in vogue. But yeah, that was really uncool and dragged things down a little bit. Not to mention, again, the whole wackiness with MacLeod and Callihan to begin kind of just broke up the flow of the show a little bit and made things a little obtuse sometimes. So yeah, a little bit too car crashy for my taste in some parts. But still, overall, a very enjoyable show. I'm going to give Impact Emergence a B. Okay, so next wrestling show is going to be Clash at the Castle. That's Labor Day weekend. That's like a couple weeks away, I guess. Next big review is going to be, I guess, the premiere of She-Hulk, which is not on Wednesday now, it's on Thursday. So I was planning to review Beast, which comes out on the 19th, so I'm probably going to have to push that back a little bit. I'm still in the very early stages of... It's been a busy week. I'm still in the very early stages of episode 200 of the Random Trade Review. I'm mostly through the initial read-through, so I should hopefully be able to begin scripting soon. Like I said, it's been a little hectic the last few days. I have to do some house sitting. I've had to do some unplanned house sitting next week, so hopefully it won't be too terrible. So yeah, I still want to try to do the Random Trait Memories video and get that up as soon as I can, but we're going to have to see how that works out. I also have to do the new openings. In other words, I'm busy. So yeah, like, I'll try to get things out as much in a timely manner as I can, but I can't guarantee it. Okay? Also, Madden's coming out, so... yeah, again, it's a lot of stuff. I'm not trying to be too much of a downer. I'm not trying to, oh, woe is me. I'll be fine. It's just, again, a lot of stuff to do and not a lot of time to get it done. So see you all next time. Hey guys, remember to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/SleepyTimeForCat Productions, where you can help me expand my wrestling coverage to stuff beyond WWE, NXT, and the occasional AEW free show.